This is Kim and Neil with Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about stun guns and tasers and why we don't recommend them. And I know we're going to get some heat from this one because whenever we say we don't recommend something or we don't like something, we get all the keyboard warriors. Wow. Listen,
Which would be all the people that have that item.
I don't recommend it because you're going to see here in a minute the size. I'm like, you're way better off carrying a firearm than that. And I think that if with any tool, you need to understand its limitations. And I feel like, especially watching movies and things like that, you get this false sense of how they work and
Are you
their
suggesting
uses.
that Hollywood is not accurate?
They're not. They're lying to you. A lot of people mistake stun guns for tasers.
Let's explain what the actual device difference. So I don't have a stun gun, but here on the screen, Kim will make a magic stun gun appear. And as you can see, this is what you've seen on the movies a million times, where they have this total nonsense where every bad guy comes up and goes, zzz, and then the person falls on the ground and then they wake up like 30 minutes later. Like, that'd be pretty cool if that worked that way, but that's not how that works.
Stun guns are those things you get at outdoor stores. They are like as cheap as like $50, I want to say.
Even though everyone calls them tasers.
They do, and they often, and they're totally different tools. So stun guns are the cheaper ones you get, and how they work is they're pain compliance, and you actually have to touch the person to do it. And if you're out looking at stun guns, they put really high voltage, but that's not actually what will kill you, it's the amps. And also, as I was mentioning how they work, is that they're pain compliance and they only work when you're touching the person. So if you did quickly touch them, they will jerk back, but you really, to get the most out of it, you have to touch a big muscle group and hold it there for at least 3 seconds. And my problem with that is it depends on the size of the attacker. And they're not like the movies. I know in Hollywood, they put the stun gun and
Whoa,
the
is
gun
that real? Whoa.
passes out for 30 minutes. That's not how they work. And this is what I always show in my class all the time I go. So here I am with Neil, and if I reach out, can you touch me, Neil?
You sure can.
Boop. So I don't, the chances of him taking it from me before I can even reach him is high. So I just think that it's just not worth it. I don't think it's a good tool.
Let's get into tasers. So this is a taser. This is a Taser 7, one of the latest ones. It's on a duty belt, obviously, because this is something I use in law enforcement, but that's part of the point Kim was making. Look how big this is. This is as big as my gun. In fact, it's wider, even with my light and my red dot on it and the whole 9 yards. So to carry something around like this, I mean, what is the advantage there? Secondly, I understand that there's civilian versions, and this is a this is a law enforcement version. I get it, but it's not like they're going to suddenly be super small, and their functionality essentially the same. So let's get in this. First of all, this is on a retention rig, so no one can take it from us, because obviously getting this in the bad guy's hands is a bad idea. So if you've never seen the business end, that's what it looks like. Hopefully you haven't. If you haven't, you
change your lifestyle.
Something wrong with you. So this is one of the latest and greatest models out there at the time. It has two bays, as in these two and these two. And so unlike a stun gun that just arcs, and by the way, this does have a stun gun type feature, which I will show you here live. Hopefully we don't shoot darts off. I'm just kidding. Darts come out of here, 2 of them. And as you can see from the side profile, there's a dart in the top and a dart in the bottom. And that's one of the bays, and then the next bay on the other side, there's another dart and another dart. So the concept here is that those 2 darts have to make contact so we're splitting the hemispheres, as they say. So basically we want one up here and one down here. We want to avoid the heart and blah, blah, blah. It's not a training session. I just want you to understand how they work. They actually go out and both have to make contact. If both do not, as in I get one good one and the other one goes flying, it's not going to work. And what we're trying to accomplish is NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation, which is like a giant human cramp, right? You've seen it on, body cams and stuff like that when you watch that. That's when they do, and that's a short window, when they do actually work, the person pretty much is frozen, so to speak, and then the officers can do what they got to do. Civilian version, just so you know, well, first of all, these are a 5-second ride, all law enforcement versions. The civilian is a 30-second. It's not on constantly for 30 seconds, but the civilian version, you're supposed to shoot the darts. Let's hope they work and there's no other attackers and everything is perfect in this world. This person gets NMI and falls to the ground. It shocks them for 5 seconds, and then there's a break, and then it shocks them again. I don't know if it's 5 and 5 and 5. All I do know is the total duration is 30 seconds. and that's your window to run away. So that's how that's supposed to work, and drop your whatever, your $1,000 taser or whatever it is that you paid for, and get out of Dodge, okay? Now, I will show you how this works as a stun feature on this particular taser. And so that is a feature that is arcing, so I can actually touch a person with that, and it would be very similar in the fact that it's not going to give any type of incapacitation, it's a pain compliance. Now for some of you that are very astute out there and have used these before, which I don't know why you'd watch this video, technically speaking, if I got one of those darts in here in the right place, I could in fact come up to the person, touch them with this, and cause that spark, and that would complete the circuit. But just like a stun gun, I have to make contact with them. So I don't want to make this a big, long, drawn-out thing on tasers specifically, but that's the understanding. There's darts that come out. If it works properly, it causes incapacitation of the person for 5 seconds or longer if it's a civilian version.
And we are in Ohio where we can carry guns. Yay, America. So I'm not a fan of them because they're big. They're, you know, if you're going to carry that, you might as well carry a gun.
I mean, I have pretty big hands. I mean, the width of that is just tremendous. It is pretty wide. So
they're big, they're expensive, they're just only work if you just have the one attacker, and you better hope that you do that. And law enforcement trains every year for this, so this is another tool. I mean,
yeah, I mean that's another point actually to talk about, is that from a liability perspective, as law enforcement officers, we're required, every agency I've ever heard of that uses these, I think it's even required by Taser for the agencies, they have to get mandatory training every year. I don't know how that works in the civilian version. I don't know how they would control that if you bought one as a civilian and never did training with it. I mean, and then you ended up, you know, causing some type of death to somebody because it hit their heart in the right way or whatever the case is. I don't know. I think that opens up a lot of issues, but I'm not a Taser representative, so I don't know.
And I just want you to know that if you're going to buy them and that's still what you want to do, that's great, but you need to understand the limitations of the tools and also understand the difference between the two.
We talk about splitting the hemispheres and the dart placement, the new Taser devices. If you look at the wall behind me, when I switch this on, as I get further back, you're going to see the gap. So the green one's on the top and the red one on the bottom. Again, that's going to show you technically where those darts are going to go.
We are going to make a Patreon video right after this with the products and tools that we do find useful besides for firearms. So you can check that out.
I just want to make sure we have an understanding of why we made this video. It's not that we just want to bash the Taser product. I just want you guys to get enough information to make an informed decision. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of misinformation about stun guns and tasers, and people get them confused. They get these fantasies of how they work. So if nothing more, if you decide that the Taser product is for you, then fantastic. It's not the product itself. I just want you to know what it's actually capable of in real life, not what the movies portray.
We hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like, a thumbs up, a share, a comment. We always love to hear from you guys. It really helps when you comment because it helps push our video out, so please do that. You can find us here.
If you didn't say so already, please like and share and subscribe, because the gods of YouTube don't like us or our content.
You can find us here on YouTube.
Did I mention about sharing this video?
We're also on Facebook, on Instagram. We put our content on Rumble, and of course all of our premium content, including a follow-up of this of other tools that we enjoy, will be on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to judge by 12 than carry by 6.